Her stepmother cut her beautiful braids out of jealousy, but she did not know it would make her stepdaughter queen. In a small village in Africa, there lived a girl named Amaka. Amaka was very pretty. She had long, thick black braids. Her hair was so beautiful that everyone in the Polly's village loved to look at her. All the girls wanted hair like Amaka. Amaka's mother loved her very much. Every night, her mother combed her long braids and said, "Amaka, your beauty is your light, but your heart is your real crown." One sad day, Amaka's mother became very sick. Amaka held her mother's hand and cried. She asked, "Mama, will you get better soon?" Her mother touched Amaka's face softly. "Always be kind, my Amaka. That is your greatest beauty," she whispered. Then she closed her eyes and never opened them again. Amaka felt very alone. Her father Bako was a kind man, but he was weak and could not care for Amaka alone. Soon he married a woman named Mena. Mena had a sharp tongue and a cold heart. 9-8 also had her own daughter named Favy, who was 5 years younger than Amaka. Favy was spoiled. She never worked. She sat all day painting her nails and watching television. Nena loved Favy and gave her everything. But from the first day, Nena treated Amaka very badly, like a servant. Every day, she cleaned the house, washed dishes, and cooked food. Her hands got tired and her back hurt. One evening, Amaka finished cleaning and felt very hungry. She went to Eni with tears in her eyes and said, "Auntie Ene, I've finished cleaning. Can I eat now?" Nea looked at Amara coldly and said, "That food is for my daughter. Go outside and find something else to eat if you're hungry." Amara went outside quietly. She found some old bread and ate alone under the stars. She missed her mother and cried softly, whispering, "Mama, why did you leave me?" One night after all her work was done, Amaka sat in front of the mirror. She gently combed her beautiful long black braids. As she looked at her reflection, she smiled sadly and whispered, "Mama, they can take away everything, but they can't take my hair. This is the only thing you left for me." In the village everyone still admired her beauty, admired Amara's beauty. The girl said, "Amara, you are so beautiful. Your hair is perfect." Amaka smiled softly, but her heart was sad, because at home she never heard kind words like these. Favy watched Amaka from afar and felt jealous. She turned to Eni and said, "Mother, why do people say Amaka is beautiful? I am better than her," hugged Favy tightly. "You are the best, my dear. Don't worry, Amaka will never be better than you." That night, Amaka lay on her small bed, holding a picture of her mother. She whispered softly, "Mama, I promise I will always keep my heart kind, just like you told me." Amaka closed her eyes, dreaming of happier days, not knowing the challenges waiting ahead. Amaka grew older. She became even more beautiful. At 25 years old, her beauty was so bright that even without nice clothes or jewelry, people still stopped and stared. They whispered about her beauty wherever she went. But inside, Amaka still felt sad, because at home, Nay and Favy always treated her poorly. Favy was now 20. She never worked. She spent her days painting her nails, watching television, and laughing at Amaka. One day, Favy pointed at Amaka and said loudly, "Amaka, even your beauty cannot hide the fact that you are just a maid." Amaka felt hurt, but she said nothing. She kept doing her chores, hoping that someday things would change. One sunny day, a loud voice echoed through the village. It was the town crier. He shouted, "Listen, everyone. There will be a royal dance at the palace. All unmarried girls must come. The prince will choose his bride at the dance." Amaka's eyes amazed. Her heart jumped with joy, sparkled with hope. Her heart jumped with joy. She ran quickly to Eni and said excitedly, "Mama,
Can I go to the dance too?
Ne turned red with anger. Her voice exploded like thunder. How dare you even think about it? You are nothing but a maid. A prince would never look at you. Favy stood beside Ne, smirking at Amarka. She said sharply, Look, Amarka, my face is fit for royalty. Your face is fit for dishwashing. Amarka stood tall. She still felt brave. She said firmly. Men's eyes narrowed. She said loudly, And how will you go? You have no nice dress. Maybe you should go ask your mother's ghost for one. Amarka felt tears coming, but she remembered her mother's words. She softly replied, My mother always told me I was meant for more. Ne laughed cruel. You think too much of yourself, Amarka. You will never be anything more than a maid. That night she stayed awake, thinking of ways to make sure Amarka could not go to the dance. Her heart filled with hatred. She whispered angrily, Amarka will never be better than my daughter. I must stop her. Amarka lay awake too, dreaming about the ceremony, not knowing what was waiting for her. She did not know. Ne has a cruel plan in mind. Ne's heart was dark with jealousy and anger. She could not bear the thought of Amarka finding happiness. As Amarka finally fell asleep, dreaming of beautiful dresses and joyful, Ne smiled a wicked smile. She whispered softly to herself, Just wait, Amarka. Tomorrow your dreams will end. The day before the dance came. Quickly, the next day, Amarka felt happy. She smiled as she cleaned the house and cooked food. She did all the washing, sweeping, and cooking. Ne kept shouting at her, giving her orders, making sure Amarka had no time to rest. Wash those clothes again. They are not clean. Ne yelled. Yes, Auntie. Amarka said softly, working faster till evening. Amarka was very tired. Her hands hurt, her feet hurt, but she did not complain. She thought about the dance and her heart felt warm. When she finished all her chores, Amarka stood up straight and whispered to herself, I did it. Now nothing can stop me. Ne watched Amarka quietly from a dark corner. Her eyes were angry and cold. You think you are better than my daughter. Then whispered to herself, I will show you what happens to girls who dream too big. Late at night, when the moon was bright, Amarka fell asleep quickly. She was so tired, she did not hear the door open quietly. Men stepped into Amarka's room, holding something sharp, scissors in her hand. Men smiled an evil smile. She came close to Amarka's bed and lifted Amarka's beautiful braids, slowly and quietly. Men started cutting Amarka's hair. Snip, snip, snip. Amarka did not wake up, kept cutting until Amarka's thick braids fell to the floor. Amarka's head was completely bald. Favy laughed softly and whispered, Now let's see if the prince wants a bold crow like you. Morning came. Amarka opened her eyes. She touched her head and screamed loudly. My hair is gone. She jumped out of bed and saw her hair on the floor. Her heart felt broken. Tears filled her eyes. Amarka fell to her knees, crying hard. Why? She sobbed loudly. Why would you do this to me? Annie stood at the door, smiling cruel. You wanted to dance, didn't you? Dance now. Amarka, go. Let everyone laugh at you. Amarka cried, holding her bald head. Her heart felt broken. Her hair was the last gift from her mother. Now it was gone. But as Amarka sat crying, she remembered her mother's words. Amarka, your beauty is your light, but your heart will always be your crown. Amarka wiped her tears. She felt pain, but she also felt courage. You can take my hair, Auntie Ne, but you can't take my heart. She whispered bravely. She stood up, picked up a beautiful scarf, and covered her bald head carefully. She walked out, quickly, Running through the village, everyone looked at Amaka in surprise. She knocked on her best friend's door.
Tolu, please open quickly.
Tolo opened the door and saw Amaka's tears. What happened, your hair? Amaka sobbed again. Auntie Nay cut it off. Tolo hugged Amaka tightly. Come inside quickly. We will fix this. Your hair. You are beautiful, Amaka. But your heart is stronger. Amaka smiled a little, feeling hopeful again. She knew nothing could break her heart, not even Nay and her daughter's cruelty. Inside small house, Amaka cried quietly. Tolo held Amaka's hand and hugged her tight. Do not cry, Amaka, she said gently. Hair grows back, but your heart is always beautiful. Amaka touched her bald head and whispered, But everyone will laugh at me. How can I face the prince now? Tolu smiled warmly. You will still go. We will show them what true beauty means. Tolu quickly opened a big box. Inside was a beautiful royal blue dress. Amaka's eyes became wide in surprise. It's for you, said Tolu softly. I made it myself. You will look perfect. Put on the dress, she felt, like a princess. Then Tolu gave her a lovely scarf, shining with many bright stones. Cover your head with this, Tolu said. Everyone will see how strong you are. Amaka put on the dress. Amaka looked in the mirror and smiled again. She felt brave. Now, soon they reached the royal dance. The palace was bright with lights and music. Many beautiful girls stood around, dressed in lovely clothes. Amaka's heart beat fast. When Amaka stepped inside, everyone turned to look at her. They whispered quietly, Who is she? One girl asked. She looks beautiful, said another amazed. Amaka held her head high. Even though she was bold, she remembered her mother's words. Your heart will always be your crown. Across the room, Prince Ken stood tall and handsome. He glanced at Amaka with warm, kind eyes. Slowly he walked toward her. Would you dance with me? Ken asked gently, offering his hand. Amaka nodded shyly. Yes, I would love to, she whispered softly. They danced slowly under glowing lanterns. Everyone watched silently. Amaka felt calm, safe, and special. Ken smiled warmly. What is your name? Amaka, she said softly. Amaka. Your courage shines brighter than any crown, he said, his voice gentle and kind. Suddenly a loud voice shouted from the crowd. It was Nay. She is bold. You should choose my beautiful daughter Favy. None yelled angrily. Favy stood beside none, her face red with anger. Yes, pick me, Prince Ken, not that ugly girl. The crowd looked at Amaka. Amaka's eyes filled with tears, but she stayed strong. Prince Ken raised Amaka's hand high in front of everyone. I choose Amaka, Ken said clearly. I choose her, not for her hair, but for her brave heart. Everyone began clapping and cheering loudly. Nun's face turned pale. She could not believe what was happening. Prince Ken looked into Amaka's eyes and slowly knelt down in front of her. Amaka, will you marry me? Amaka's heart jumped with joy. Tears ran down her cheeks, but this time they were happy tears. Yes, Ken. Yes, I will marry you, Amaka said, smiling brightly. Tolu smiled proudly, her eyes full of tears too. Everyone in the palace celebrated loudly. Ah! In that moment, Amaka knew true beauty was not in her hair. It was in her brave and loving heart. Minnie heard Prince Ken's words. She felt very angry. Her body shook, and she fell to the floor. Everyone turned to look. Favy cried loudly. This is not fair, Favy shouted, tears streaming down her face. Why did he choose her? She has no hair. She's ugly. But no one listened to Favy. They smiled at Amaka. The crowd cheered louder. She did not need beauty. A woman whispered softly. She showed strength and courage. She showed us what really matters. Days passed quickly. Soon the village gathered again. Amaka wore a beautiful dress and her special scarf. Prince Ken stood proudly beside her. It was the day Amaka would become queen. Amaka looked around her. Heart felt warm. She thought about her mother. I hope you can see me, Mama, Amaka whispered softly. I hope you are proud of me. Prince Ken gently placed the golden crown on Amaka's head. Today, Amaka becomes your queen, he said loudly to everyone. People cheered and clapped again. They loved Amaka very much. Slowly, Amaka stood in front of the crowd. She took a deep breath, smiled, and spoke clearly. Friends, Amaka said warmly, today I stand before you, not because of my beauty. My hair was cut, but my heart stayed strong. Everyone listened quietly. Amaka's eyes filled with happy tears, but she continued speaking bravely. My mother once told me, Amaka, your beauty is your light, but your heart will always be your crown. Now I understand. True beauty can be cut, but courage cannot.